Well, welcome back to the Baseball Hut 2. We talk about a lot of baseball rumors and a lot of just sort of, different things going on in Major League Baseball. So today, in this video, we're going to talk about buyers and sellers. Who's going to be buying at the deadline and who's going to be selling. And before we get into this video, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2 and let me know what you think about this video. So, I read a lot of stuff. I'm going to read you a little bit and we'll talk about, this is from the hell's his name? What's his name? Robert Murray. Robert Murray wrote this. In this week's Inside the Clubhouse, fan-sided MLB insider Robert Murray lays out what he's hearing leading up to the July 31st trade deadline. The baseball trade deadline is almost 2 months away, and yet there's clarity as to what direction many teams are likely to go in before July 31st. As you know, August 1st is the deadline. There are teams that have established themselves as clear contenders, such as Houston, the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Rays. There are teams hovering around 500 that are likely to add, including the New York Mets, the Phillies, the Cardinals, the Padres, and there are non-contenders that are sure things to sell. With the White Sox, Royals, and Oakland A's, the worst team in baseball, the worst team ever in the history of baseball, being candidates as well. Here are 6 teams to watch ahead of the deadline, featuring 3 likely buyers and 3 likely sellers. First up, the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers are likely to explore the starting pitching and shortstop markets ahead of the deadline, and a meaningful starting pitching addition feels more likely of the two. Their rotation has been battered by injuries, and there should be a plethora of starting pitchers available, though Dylan Cease or Corbin Burns could prove too expensive for the Dodgers' liking. Keep an eye on the White Sox, Tim Anderson, who will be the subject of trade rumors, but he is unlikely to be a fit in Los Angeles. The St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals president of baseball operations John Mozeliak has acquired starters the past 2 deadlines, J.A. Happ and John Lester in 21, and Jose Quintana and Jordan Montgomery in 22, and this year should be no different. We'll also not be surprised at all to see the Cardinals move on from outfielder Tyler O'Neill, who's believed to be available in trade talks. We'll keep an eye on the Cardinals. They're a weird case because they've been sort of down and they were up, but now they're back down again. They have a very inconsistent season, but they're not in a good division in the National League Central. A buyer, the San Diego Padres. In recent years, the Padres have tried and failed to address the catcher position. They lack a long-term answer at the position, and it could prove difficult once again. President of Baseball Operations A.J. Pearl to address it, with no obvious trade pieces available now that Sean Murphy, William Contreras, and Wilson Contreras have new homes. Could the Cubs catcher Yan Gomes be another short-term answer? We'll see. But the Padres are in a weird position because the Padres, as you know, are weird because they're a team that they keep making all these deals, they keep signing all these players, and they stink. They barely made the playoffs they made the playoffs last year. They beat my Mets, but then they got defeated by the Padres. And I don't know, just a very strange team. I mean, then they won the next one, then they lost to the Padres. They lost to the Phillies. They're a very strange team. I don't think they have a lot of leadership in that clubhouse. And obviously with this thing where Fernando Tatis always thrown around them, who knows? Now the sellers. First up, the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox have a plethora of interesting trade pieces, including Tim Anderson, Lucas Giolito, Mike Clevenger, and Yasmani Grandal. I would also add Lance Lynn. There are numerous contending teams in need of bullpen help, and all-star closer Liam Hendriks is likely to draw a trade interest. I don't see him getting moved because it's an obvious thing. I don't know if you want to have a guy that's got cancer traveling around. I think that would be very difficult for him. And he had stage 4 cancer. Now, he's cancer-free, he said, but I would be very surprised if a team would want to make a deal for him and rely on him. It's just a common sense thing. The big fish is stark right-handed Dylan Cease, who's under contract for 2 more seasons, but the massive asking price could make a trade difficult to consummate. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. The Royals, Kansas City Royals, already received trade interest in reliever Aroldis Chapman, and he is expected to be moved ahead of the July 31st deadline. I expect that. Other trade candidates include Miguel Garcia and Nicky Lopez, as the Royals could look to further shake up the infield logjam even after releasing Hunter Dozier. And finally, worst team ever, possibly. A team that's gotten off to one of the worst starts in the history of professional baseball. The Oakland A's. Oakland A's are bad. Like, really bad. Historically bad. But they have trade pieces, with their top trade chip being outfielder Brent Rooker. Outfielder Ramon Laureano has drawn trade interest in the past. Reliever Richard Lovelady has far exceeded expectations after being acquired an afterthought deal with the Atlanta Braves and can fetch a prospect in return from a bullpen-needy team. I mean, what player on that team could help you down the stretch? You're talking about the worst team ever. This is the worst team ever. There is nobody, and the HUD means nobody, of interest. To me as a fan, I would stay away from every Oakland A player. If I was the New York Mets, or any team for that matter. Just based on the fact that they're so bad. Every player is bad. Every player will be tainted forever. They break the 1962 New York Met record. They do that, people will remember the players that were on that team. They say, well, you were on that bad team years ago. 40 years from now, they'll be telling these guys they're in their 20s. I remember you. Weren't you on that bad team in 2023? And they'd be like, yes, I was. Well, they're not going to, I don't expect anything of value getting moved from them. So, you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.